Hi everyone, it's Lone Wolf, Wolf Territories Grid here. I just I hope you like my new hat. Um, this is going to be like a day in the life of a grid owner, because, but remember that Wolf Territories Grid is the largest grid there is. We are bigger than it, in land size. We're over 30 something. That's see, the stats are all here. We have about 9,500 visitors a month. Our total SL equivalent regions, that's 256 by 256, is 32,992, which makes us over 201,984 metres squared in land. And so we've got about a couple of thousand users. We've only been going 3 years, so that's why. So anyway, so a day in the life of the. So I'm going to talk about the last 24 hours really, and I'm not sure this is a typical. Okay, because we're such a big grid, we do attract a lot of attention, and some of the attention is not good. Some of the attention is quite tedious. I've been spending a lot more time recently dealing with people complaining about things, and issues with people getting upset with each other. Now, we are a UK limited company, so really that kind of management, we kind of, just, yes, of course. Yeah, so, sorry I'm doing ad. I'm chatting to people while we're talking. It's cool. It's what I like to do. When I started this grid, the grid was... the idea was to create a giant virtual world where you could just explore what you liked, where you could create what you liked and do what you liked and build a fantastic imagination of, express your imagination. I wanted to do educational things. I wanted to explore the platform and see what we could do. And nothing's changed about that. The only thing that's changed is we used to be like a Wild West role play, but now we're just like we're so huge. We've got all kinds of role plays and all kinds of educational things. A couple of universities are here. There's some charities here. There's just loads of people exploring what we can do with this platform, which is nothing has changed on that. However, the last 24 hours, we had two people get upset with each other, and that's been dealt with by the fantastic grid admins and myself. And it's just really hard sometimes to deal with all that stuff when it detracts from actually doing something creative. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Bill. Oh, thanks, Bill. Still working on it. Okay, thanks, Bill. So, yeah, I don't think I should be having chats when I'm trying to make a video, but that is part of what I do. About 2 months ago, if I'd have logged in, I could quite happily log in, and there would be quiet. It would be quiet, and I could just wander around and do what I wanted to do. Now, if I log in, it's just, and this is a quiet time of the day as well. It's about 8:30 in the morning UK time. I'm in my office, in my real life offices, and I would just be able to log in, potter around, have a little grin, walk around, but now it's I am City, and sometimes, like later in the day, it just becomes incredibly busy with people talking and chatting about their ideas and things we want to do and everything like that. So what happened recently is that OS Grid, which was the big other grid, has gone into maintenance, and so a lot of people have moved over to us and the other grids, which is fabulous. And a lot of people, we've had to rescue their regions and bring them here. We've had to do lots of work on their assets, which have been quite corrupted, and we have got a bit of an issue with assets because of that, which we're working through. We developed some pretty cool software to try and repair things, which has been very successful. So part of what I do as a grid owner is coding. I write a lot of code to deal with things that the bugs in that where Firestorm's got an issue or the OpenSim code's got an issue, and we kind of need a resolution quickly. So for instance, we've got a couple of those. The first thing is that groups, we've got a web interface, which I'll show you. So this is our website, which I built. It's built from scratch. It's not on a platform or anything like that. It's just been hand coded with a destination guide, and there's a control panel which our users get to use. So if you've got a region, you can manage your region and stuff like that. So I maintain and manage all this stuff, and I've built it all. And there's a lot. So there's things like a group manager, which allows you now to manage your group, and you can eject people from the group in the web interface, because it doesn't work in World, and we're aware of why it doesn't work, but we haven't got a fix for it at the moment. We've got inventory fixes, which scans your inventory and tries to fix it if there's any issues with assets, which has been happening. We've got ways to back up your outfits and restore them. This is quite a cool feature. There's lots of features that we've built, so part of what I do is coding. And we've added a lot of things, like we've got a rental system. I don't actually rent out free regions, but we've got a system where you can, if we've got a whole bunch of airports on the grid, that you can fly around to. There's all kinds of things in here. There's a marketplace and all sorts, which I've basically built. And all this stuff takes a lot of time and a lot of maintaining. It's not just you build it and leave it. We have to be constantly aware of issues and things that are going on. Also, part of what I do on a daily basis is running these chaps. This is just one of the clusters. And this is what basically pretty much runs the grid. All these servers. We have so our assets are not stored in this cluster. There's already a different cluster, and we have dynamically replicated assets. So basically, we use something called object storage. I go on and about how great it is. It's a really cool way of storing files that are going to be written once and read a lot. We have our own private object storage, which we use to store code. I don't know if I've got it. Yeah. And we also have, so the assets are stored in commercial object storage in 2 different places, and they're duplicated at all times. And exactly the same actually with the backups, so things like when you save an OR file and all that sort of thing. We developed loads of tools to manage the grid, like moving regions from one node to another, monitoring. We've got our robust software that monitors robust servers. We have 30 robust servers running on this grid, which has been a bit of a job. They do things like we have software that detects when a robust server has had a problem and then restarts it. We have software so we use load balancing, so that if your request goes to a robust server that's not there, it'll just go to the next one. We've got a lot. There's a lot, and it's been 3 years of a lot of hard work. And in the last 24 hours, I've had the joy. Sometimes we get people, it's just really escalated. It never used to be a problem. So on this site, we use a lot for promotion and stuff like that. And but it's also a bit of a hotbed, and every now and then, probably once or twice a month, I'll get a message from someone claiming that one of the users on my grid has done something. We have 2,500 users, and yesterday was completely the same. I had someone claiming that one of our users had modified the permissions on an object, and it turned out the object was actually available free on SketchUp, so I just downloaded the object, imported it in World, and gave it to the user concerned and said, there you go, take that one, remove the other one. Although the person complaining was not the creator, and it's just like, it's so time consuming. And it's actually, we've got a way around that. I've been on talking to legal this morning, and we've got a new form which people can fill in if they've got a problem, which means that we will not have to deal with that anymore. So I'm going to talk a bit about peacekeepers as well. So they're on our grid. We have wonderful peacekeepers whose job is purely to help people. That's all the job is. And it's not to police. That's a different thing that the admins do. And security does. That's the policing, but there isn't a lot of policing to do, really. So what we're doing at the moment is we're building a peacekeepers charter, which will have clear instructions and guidelines on what to do. So, for instance, if someone turns up at Welcome not properly dressed because it's a G-rated area, just report it on a ticket. Don't, originally we were going to have like a script, but just report it on a ticket. That's hot 90% of the time. It's simply because they didn't know. They come from another grid, didn't know. or it's because their outfits haven't got here yet, because sometimes some grids are quite slow and they don't deliver to us fast enough for our grid to get it. There can be all kinds of reasons, and generally it's not a problem. The only thing that we're very keen to deal with very quickly is any child illegal activity, such as child avatars who are making sexual or any other advances to people. They will be dealt with very quickly. And any kind of illegal activity obviously needs to be dealt with very quickly according to UK law. So it's relatively strict UK law as it goes. So the idea is to provide peacekeepers. You're going to have a charter which will just be really helpful, because it will show you exactly where you stand and what the grid expects of you, and really how it's going to work in the future. The biggest problem with growing fast is that you have to learn fast. And before, we were big, but we weren't as big as we are now, and we've grown in like 2 months. It's incredible. We used to rent out a region. The grid used to rent our region. Not talking about our residents renting out regions. We probably rented out like 1 or 2 regions a month, and now we're doing probably 3 or 4 a week. And sometimes we're renting out 80 or 90 regions at once. So it's a big growth spurt to deal with, and there's lots of things we've had to do to deal with the extra load on the servers and on the Proxmox clusters, and there's lots of things we had to do, and it's been hard. Actually, it's been hard work. And one thing we don't need is this constant badgering from people who are normally on other grids. In fact, they are on other grids about something that really is not their business. And that's what happened yesterday, and it was time consuming, and I've had to go out of legal, and I don't know why they're doing it. The point is that if someone's was on OS Grid and they need help, we can help them bring their stuff over if they want to. Okay, very happy to do that. But I think there's a lot of jealousy in the old OpenSim world, and people just do what you're going to do. Leave us alone. Either come and join in with us or leave us alone. That's all we're saying. I don't go to other grids and go, oi, that thing there, you've changed the permissions on that. Because frankly, we've got 10.2 million assets right now on this grid. Just look at the map. It's always really slow whenever it's really slow because it's so huge, but there we go. Just zooming out, just to give you an idea. That's our map right now. Okay, and each square, that's a 4x4 there. That's Iceland, Jimmy Olsen's place, one of Jimmy Olsen's places. We've got Chad's Nautilus areas over there. There are a lot of regions on this grid, and you'll also notice they're joined together. So the goal is that normally you can actually sail right across the grid and experience all the different regions we've got. But maintaining and running that is a lot, and we are going to be directing people to a legal page where if they have an issue with something like an object or an asset that has appeared on this grid, they can complete a form. It will go to legal and we'll come back to them, but you can only do it if you are actually the owner of the intellectual property. Okay, you can't do it if you've spotted something that you think belongs to someone else. You can't raise a copyright claim if it's not your copyright and it's not your intellectual property. It's just taking too much of our time up. Anyway, so that's that. So if you'd like to join our grid, you come and meet us and have loads of fun. Go to, not this one, www. Can't even type too early in the morning. Haven't had my coffee properly yet. wolf-grid.com or wolf-grid.com. Just go to Google and search for Wolf Territories Grid. You come to this page, just to create an avatar. You can do it. If you want to add it to your existing or come from another grid, just go there. We're really lovely. We really want to help people. We really want to have fun, and so hopefully we can just get on with that, because that's what we want to do. Have a really good day. Have a really good week. Come and chat with us in World. I'm really happy to chat with anybody. There's loads of people around, and let's get it all going. Let's do this.